Hey man, what's up?
Yo,
How are you, dude?
I'm doing all right, man.
Been playing for a long time. I mean, you mentioned like 7 hours ago you were gonna play some games.
Yeah, dude. I'm like trying not to die.
Nice, nice, nice. I was wondering, are we on the NA server or on the European one?
I'm on EU right now.
Cool, 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 cool. That works for me. All right, yeah. So for anyone wondering, we haven't actually done a coaching session before, so should be good fun. Have you ever had any coaching in general for
No,
StarCraft?
not at all.
Cool, nice.
Uh, Surprisingly enough, I got the masters um in Wings. Of course, Wings was a lot easier compared to
Mm-hmm.
Legacy of Void. So
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned you hadn't played for a couple of years until about a month ago, right?
yeah, and I'm actually surprised I got the diamond so quite fast.
Nice. Yeah, so we're currently Diamond 2. Actually, you got 42 wins and 27 losses, MMR of 4K already. That's actually really solid, dude. Considering
I
you hadn't played
appreciate
for a
it.
month, that's nice.
Yeah, the struggle is real. The thing is getting used to all the new units. I think that's what I struggle with the most because, I already hated Banshees. Now I hate Liberators even more. So,
I was gonna say, Banshees are alright, man. I'm happy
yeah,
when I go Banshee, they're fine. So wait, did you play Heart of the Swarm at all?
a little bit. Like I got the diamond in Heart of the Swarm, but like I just
Right,
didn't really get into it because like I didn't like the whole turtle based style with Swarm host at the time.
right, makes sense. Makes sense. Now I can definitely try and help you out. Oh right, I was just checking your current rank. It says 1v1 Masters, and I was like, oh crap. But that's Wings of Liberty. You played some,
yeah,
Wings for fun.
yeah, I play some Wings for fun.
I was gonna say I have no idea about the current meta for Wings of Liberty. That's it's been too long. Alrighty. So generally speaking, how we do the coaching thing, and I guess I briefly mentioned it already, but usually we have a look at like either one or all three matchups, depending on your league. Now, considering you're higher up on the ladder already, it's probably more efficient to work on one thing at a time, just because otherwise it's gonna be like information overload, and it's pretty much impossible to implement it. So yeah, you mentioned today you wanted to do some ZVT, right?
Yes.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, so you got 64% winner against Protoss, 48 against Terran, and 71 against Zerg. That's solid.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Terran is they just have so many different things they could screw you up with. They have Liberators, they have Banshees, they have drops. It's just there's so many different ways. They can they could beat you. You know.
Yeah. Nah, that's totally fair. So you struggle against Terran aggression. There's like a lot of different openers as well from Terran. It's a bit difficult to read initially. Alright, yeah, we can definitely focus on that. I'm actually gonna make the font a little smaller on stream because it's way too big. There we
And
go.
I'll play whatever server that's best for you, like EU or NA. It's
Oh, that's
whatever.
fine. That's fine. Where are you located, by the way?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, you just play on the European server because of that. Okay, cool. Nice. I was gonna say, you don't sound very European.
I know, not at all.
Cool. So, yeah, you've been playing 150 games this month then. That's really solid. That's good shit. Cool. One Terran win, though. That's a little disappointing. No, I'm just kidding. Cool. Yeah, so if you could get started with a couple of replays, that would probably be most helpful. And then afterwards, we jump into a few games if you like.
Okay, let me try to find a couple replays.
Sure. By the way, if anyone from the stream wants to help us out, it's going to be Group LowkoTV in the European server. We're going to be looking for like a diamond level Terran. Just for practice sake. Not necessarily for winning, but if you are available for a couple of games, just let me know in the in-game chat.
I know this isn't Terran, but I can show you the recent game I just played against this Protoss player.
Sure. You happy with the result?
Kind of. I barely won, but
Yeah, cool. Now we can have a quick look at that, and then I don't know if you have any recent games. I mean, you played a bunch today, right? You mentioned so. If you have a game from today, just any match really does, just to get like a general overview, you know. Oh yeah, you've been grinding today, man. Oh, you've played up to like what is that, like 25-ish games?
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty solid. Oh, there you go. The win streaks are real.
I know, right?
Dude, your entire match history, well, with the exception of a couple of losses here and there, it's mostly green. All right. Anyway, I gave you the party lead. If you go to replays, I guess that's a new feature as well. You may not be aware of that. If you click on the replay thing and then click the button watch with others, yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay.
And then in the lobby, if you could make me the lobby host, so if you right click my name right here, I can take command of the replay. Yeah, there we go. Otherwise, I can't control it.
It's throwing me off because there's a delay with the stream and as you're talking to me, so it's.
Oh no, you should mute the stream, dude. It's like 10-15 seconds. It gets oh, hold up, let me actually rehost it, just because I had the wrong overlay thing on. No, but the stream delay is it's a pain. You can't really listen to it at the same time. Yeah, I had the wrong observer interface on.
You may redo it.
Yep.
No, like reopen it. Okay.
Yep.
Now, see, I play like a Destiny style, very Ling Infestor heavy, in a quick ultra,
Right.
and I play with pretty much with every comp. I don't really like mutas because I actually find that I win a lot easier with mutas than infestors. I'm just trying to get better with spellcasters in general. I haven't really messed with vipers too much, and I don't mess with swarm host at all.
All right. Yeah. No. Swarm hosts they're very, very specific, I guess. Like actually, it's like the combination of like Ravager Infestor is really popular nowadays. Yeah, the Destiny style. That's an old one, man. A lot of people in the stream won't even remember those, but he had the 4 Fester hit squats. I remember watching that. That's way before I even streamed myself. Like he basically did everything with just a handful of infestors. Infestors can move while burrowed. You do know that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a match made in heaven right now.
Oh man, it's so nice being able to fungal while underground.
Yep.
Now, I end up taking a pretty good engagement, but like I'll lose all my infestors in the process. But like that, you'll see it later in the game. I take a lot of harass from the adepts, but I think with the upgraded lings, with the nerfed adepts, it's helped a lot. Because it's kind of crazy how tanky they are and how mobile they really are. So I think they definitely needed that nerf.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if. Oh, it seems alright actually. A lot of people get upset, but well, Protoss players get upset. Do you play really aggressive? Yeah. So you do make a lot of links here. All right, cool.
Yeah, well, see, because like I saw that he was getting kind of greedy. So I try to do some kind of damage to him. And I'm droning behind this. It's not all in.
Yeah. Okay, I like that a lot actually. I think you could take the third base quite a bit faster. Generally speaking, like compared to Wings of Liberty, at least third bases can be taken much faster. Because if you want to continue this style, you're gonna run out of like minerals here very soon. Well, I guess it's nothing too terrible. You probably won't have enough larvae here for a bit.
I'm doing it as I'm getting my upgrades.
Right. All right. Fair enough. And then Lair as well.
So by the time they complete, my Lair should pop, and then I'll go straight into 2-2.
All right. Do you have any issues against like Dark Templar or Oracles and all those kind of like? There's a lot of like basically the 2 standards right now for Protoss against Zerg is either Dark Templar into Archon drops and Oracle based openers. I don't know if you've seen either of those.
I do have trouble with Archon drops for sure.
All right. Yeah. So like one little tip that specifically goes for ZVP is to build blind spore crawlers, like 1 in each mineral line at 4 minutes. And
4 minutes?
Yep,
Okay.
so 4-minute blind spore. And the reason for that is that it lines up perfectly with the standard Oracle timing, because normal Oracle comes with roughly 4.5 minutes. And the same for like really quick Dark Templar arrest. But against the DTs and Archon drops and whatnot, it helps out a lot against the Warp Prism as well. Because oftentimes if you don't have it, they're just gonna like drop in the middle of your mineral line and you sort of zone them with them. So basically, like you don't see it at the professional level of play, but if you are below like, I don't know, top 16 Grandmaster, totally go away or get away with, you can totally get away with 4-minute blind spores. This goes for like everyone, by the way, at every level of play until like high GM. Just build a blind spore in every mineral line at 4 minutes ZVP. It's totally worth it.
Will that work as well against Terran with Banshees and Liberators? And...
Nope, sadly not.
Sadly not.
It's a little different against Terran, but we'll go over that in just a bit. Terran's mostly scouting and figuring out what build they go for.
Now, I pulled all my drones. I didn't take too much damage. He didn't kill a whole lot of drones, so
Yep, good micro. And there you go, pathogen glands. Damn. You don't even see that upgrade all too much anymore. For some reason, that sort of fell out of style. If you plan on getting a lot of Infestor, you can totally get the Infestor energy upgrade. If you only build like a handful, it seems like it's better to just skip it. But
well, I think I hit like 12 Infestors this game.
Alright, yeah, no, that's good.
So, because I find that a lot of people, like a lot of Protoss, I actually beat a lot of Protoss doing this style because they don't know how to really address it. Because they're like, oh, Adepts beat Lings, but they don't beat severely upgraded Lings with adrenal glands and stuff like that. I actually find Lings extremely effective, especially with combined with Infestors.
Yeah. So compared to Wings of Liberty, the adrenal glands gives, I think it's right now 38% additional attack speed or something silly like that. Used to be like 10. So like, adrenal glands is stupid strong. Yeah, you definitely wanna hotkey your Infestor differently.
Well, see, I don't use the egg groups. That's one thing I need to learn how to do.
All right. So the first change we're gonna make, right, just to like annoy you, is to unbind your old army hotkey. Okay.
Okay.
So there are uses for like the old army hotkey for sure, but I feel like if it's your default hotkey to go for, in particular when you say like you want to get better at like using spellcasters and Terran aggression and stuff, like Terran aggression is usually annoying because it hits at several fronts at once, right? And spellcasters usually are pretty rough to control if you're not having them on a separate hotkey. So I feel like both of those can be changed quite nicely by just or like I guess I call them improvements. Those can both be changed up quite nicely by just simply hotkeying differently. So we'll go over that in just a little bit.
Well, I have my Infestors on a separate hotkey. It's hard for me to shift it into a control group not coming from the eggs. Like I usually wait till they get rallied and spawn, then click and hotkey them from there. Now when I see you play, you hotkey stuff pretty much immediately once you make it. I've never learned how to do that. So
okay, no, that's perfect, dude. Like that's definitely we can easily go for. It's just mostly a habit you need to get into. At some point, it's like second nature. I don't really think about hotkeying stuff, you know. It just happens. It's really efficient though. I learned that. Actually, I don't know if people use that in Wings of Liberty. It's been so long. I know that Stefano started using that. I think as one of the first players at the time.
No, I didn't see he had Colossus. I should have scouted, seeing what tech he was going.
You got neural.
so I'm like, oh no. So I got a neuroparasite. So I was researching that because I was a little bit late on it. I completely forgot to get it. Speeds it up a little bit. Like, as you can tell, I'm already teching the hive, getting the ultras, remaking that base that he just killed. I didn't lose any of the drones, so I don't really have to remake drones. And I've been scouting around, making sure that he hasn't had another base, and he just not got this base up, which is extremely late. So I'm kind of just waiting for my neuroparasite to upgrade to finish, and my upgrade to Ultralisk, the Carapace. And then just kind of waiting for more ultras to spawn before I fight this army.
Yep. Now, ultras can be a bit of a pain. One tip I would give you is to, like, even if you're playing this, to just get a greater spire already ready to go.
Yeah, it's already, I mean, yeah.
That's cool. Like, basically, they will, like, you can see this guy do the same thing, right? So he defends against this initially here. And then he immediately warps in like 8 High Templar right there and morphs them into Archon, and he queues up, what is it called? Immortals right there immediately. And that, like, Immortal Archon absolutely shuts down any kind of Colossus play. So, or any kind of, what's it called? Ultralisk play. So, basically, when you're getting your Ultras, so basically when you can afford it right about right now, when playing Ultra, get a Spire and like get a switch going towards Brute Lords in case you need to. Okay. Because it's like they can easily counter it, you know? Like a couple of minutes go by and like 3 cycles of Immortals and it's gonna be really tough. I guess in this case though.
Now, I mess up.
You should burrow.
I thought I had Bane speed and like some of my Infestors weren't burrowed, but I neuroparasite all the Colossus, so it was just shredding his entire army.
Shit. I actually thought that engagement would go terrible right there, because the Colossi or the Ultras were derping in the back there, but
Yeah, they were, but the neuroparasite saved me from the with the Colossus,
Nice.
and then I just wiped his entire army. Um,
That's sick. Yeah, he's actually really poorly upgraded here too. Your ultras are at +5, +3, and he's at
Yeah.
+1 attack.
and
That's such a cool style to play though. I love watching this sort of stuff. It's really hard to pull off, but if you can macro it, like I mean, it's looking solid here. You got so many reinforcements too.
As you can see, my macro's fairly well. Like
Yeah.
but my micro sucks. That's what I strive.
Yeah. All right. So it basically all comes down to control groups. Basically, control groups is where it's at today. Cool.
And then I pretty much just kill him with a bunch of lings and ultras. Like there's nothing he can do.
I think that playstyle is really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So the little tips are like the 4-minute blind spores, and then you know get a spire, just in case. But other than that, I mean, this should work out quite well, right? He's going Tempest. Oh, ultras don't really care.
Now my creep spread kind of sucks. I wish I could do a little bit better on my creep spread, but there's so much stuff going on in this game.
I mean, that's one of those things. Like, if you think of all the things you need to do, it should be at the bottom of the list. Like you can see that you played the game at least back in the day, because the priority as far as like queen injects and whatnot, and you know making sure you get a lot of stuff and spending the income, that shit is all on point, right? Like I coach quite a lot of people, and you know some people in silver are really stuck on creep spreading like a boss. But I mean, creep spread is pointless if you've got 5,000 in the bank, right? So like, the priority and whatnot is solid. Yeah, nice. That's good.
Yeah, I tell everyone, like everyone that's new, like plat below, it's all about spending your money. It doesn't matter what you spend it on, as long as you're spending your money, you'll kill your opponent. Period.
Pretty much.
But like once you get higher than that, that's when composition comes into play. For the most part.
Yep. No, I agree. All right, so let's have a look at Zerg versus Terran then. If you've got like a random game, just to have like a general look at it, and then we'll jump into some quick matches. I'm that guy, Lowko. I get obsessed with creep threats as Piku. It needs to be perfect. Yep. No, I know.
Now this game, I might cause a little bit of BM because I was a little bit frustrated because,
Sure.
I've been fighting Terrans and just getting crushed by them. So.
All right. Well, hey, you get like 48% win rate. It's still not like, you know, it's nothing too awful. I mean, that's pretty solid actually.
It's definitely not great compared to my Protoss and Zerg.
So, do you have like a similar approach against Terran?
Yeah, Ling Infester.
Cool.
But like I'm not sure if I misscouted, which I didn't check the replay, but like wasn't sure what this guy was doing, so I was like, well, he's only on one base, so I'm expecting some big attack to come. I didn't see this expansion. That's what my issue was.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was gonna say. All right. Yeah. So there's basically like, I would say like 2 main builds for Protoss, or for Terran rather. This seems to be already like the 16 Marine drop. I don't know if it's true, but if I have to predict it, it would drop right around 5.5 minutes with 16 Marines in your middle line with Stimpack.
I actually don't have issues with that, just because like by the time that attack hits, my lings are already +1/+1. So all I have to do is mix in like 1 or 2 Banes, and I just crush it. And they're not able to deal any damage to me. Like I said, the only thing I have problems with is like Cyclones, Liberators, Banshees. Just I think everyone hates Banshees, but
yeah, no, I'm looking at his build here. I think he forgot Stimpack. That's why this game may have been odd, because he didn't start Stimpack for the longest time.
Look, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, okay, this guy doesn't have that much of an economy, I felt like. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just whips out a bunch of Cyclones, and I believe kills me.
All right.
No, it's a bunch of Marines. Never mind. There's a bunch of Marines.
Yeah. So the normal timing, and that's one of like I would say that's probably in about half of all the Terran games you play, maybe even more than that. It used to be like pretty much all of them. They go for this style right here, where they make 16 Marines, they load them into medevacs just like this, and then they push.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this push will probably, you know, your Roaches are going to be pretty strong here, but you definitely want to make sure you get enough economy here to back it up as well, because otherwise you're going to fall behind really quickly. Now, for some reason, this guy hasn't really been making that much eco here. Yeah, I think you may just be out macroing the majority of your opponents, to be fair.
But I just straight up die because his push kills me.
Alright.
I probably could have
Right.
held it, but with the roaches, if I didn't make the roaches, I would have had +1/+1 already, if that makes sense. Because you saw him loading, and by that time, with all that gas and minerals I invested in the roaches and stuff, I would already had the +1/+1.
Right.
If he's, because it's already halfway done while it's pushing into my base. So
I'm trying to see if I got a replay maybe of me playing against this, because this is basically like one of the default builds they go for. Like it's pretty much this exact build right here, every single game of Zerg versus Terran. I mean, it's very, very common. Let's see. Well, I can just open up a random replay, I guess, from last week, because I can almost guarantee you that it's probably going to be the case. But I would say this is probably like, this is going to be the standard for the foreseeable future for sure. There's nothing really bad about this build, because it opens up into a really nice macro style, but you can also go all in. Hold on. So I don't actually know if this replay right here is going to be the same style. But considering it's Mutiling Bane, and I usually follow this up with Mutiling Bane, it probably is going to be similar. So I would say, like, basically against Terran, you have two different builds to scout, right? So the first one is going to be that double barracks opener, like the guy just did in the game you showed me. And the second one is going to be quick reactor Hellions. Those are basically your two most common ones. So we'll just double check here real quick if it is going to be that build. Yeah, so that's exactly what's going on. So notice right here, like, well, that's me in the bottom right corner, and that's my opponent right here in the top left. So he's doing the exact same thing, right? So the first thing to scout, and you can actually see this with this Overlord on this map, and on pretty much every other map as well. You can see that the barracks will have a reactor on it. So basically the setup, if you want to go for the 16 Marine drop, the setup is as follows, okay? So they go... I'll just go ahead and write it down as well, and I'll send this over to you, by the way, a little later. But it's going to be one barracks tech lab, one barracks reactor, and then one factory, and one starport with reactor. And basically they produce the reactor on the factory and then switch it over with the starport. Does that make any sense? Like the logic?
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Now, do you make a lot of queens to deal with the medevacs, or?
Yeah, so like my normal response, since I know it will hit right around 5.5 minutes, it kind of depends on your skill level, but basically it hits past 5 minutes. My normal response is to start making units non-stop at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. It's sort of like a golden timing, because at that point you can just start making non-stop Zerglings, get +1/+1, basically the exact style you were already playing, as well as like additional queens if you get leftover money. But until 4 minutes and 30 seconds, you're basically free to do whatever. Now, it kind of depends, of course, on your opponent's skill level. Like, I don't know if your opponent would actually hit exactly at 5.5 minutes or a little sooner than that. But basically, as soon as you can scout this setup right here, and I don't know if I properly scouted in this match. I hope so. Yeah, so I come in, I guess, with the Overlord right here in the back.
Yeah, you should see that tech lab right there.
Well, actually, I sent it back. Well, all right, well, I guess I already got a glimpse here. If you see a lot of Marines like this, it's a pretty solid tell as well. So basically, at this point, I'm allowed to make non-stop units, or non-stop drones rather, until 4.5 minutes. And then right around 4.5 minutes is when I properly start making units. Now, in this case, I decide to go for the Roach Horn instead, which is a little different. But you can definitely go +1/+1 and you know, the other style you can that you wanted to go for anyway.
Yeah.
So notice, like, this guy executed it pretty much as spot on as you can. And he finishes up Stimpack right here at 5 minutes and 16-ish seconds, right?
Okay.
And that's basically the timing they're trying to hit. So they're trying to go double medevac, 16 Marines, and they try and hit you, and, you know, they can kill you with this if you want to. Now, from here on out, the game basically goes into, you know, standard macro, and you can transition into the styles you want to.
Now, you didn't have +1/+1. I think in my build I would have, but I would have had less eco than you.
Yeah, I would prioritize eco if I were you initially. So
it's just hard. It's just hard to do Ling Infestor without upgraded Lings.
yeah. I'm still getting them, I guess. I'm still getting them, and basically I'm trying to. I don't even know why I got this Roach Horn here, to be honest. I don't think I made any Roaches. But basically I'm scouting what's going on. Then I make as many drones as I possibly can, and then I start my upgrades and like units and tech and all that sort of stuff. So I'm prioritizing a lot more drones, I guess. So I don't know exactly how many workers I had there compared to him. Basically, at this point, I start making non-stop units. So it's 46 right now against 38. If I were to get +1/+1 earlier, I think it's probably a little risky. But yeah, I'm starting my Evo chambers right here. I think it's gonna be really tough though to finish up 1-1 before this attack hits. You don't really need it anyway. But I mean, that's up to you, right? I'm just showing you like the different options that they have.
Now your Lair, I think, would be a lot quicker than mine, just because I go +1/+1 before Lair.
I did as well, actually. I did as well in this match. But usually my gas spending against this style is going to be link speed first, of course. Then I get a second gas a little while later once I get the natural fully saturated. Then I get 1-1 started right around 5 minutes or so. And then I go for a Lair and a Bailing Nest. So I actually defend against this stuff with just Queens and Zerglings. Now, if you feel like you may not be able, or like you may not feel comfortable doing that, you can add the Bailing Nest first as well, when the upgrades first and all that stuff. That's totally fine.
Now, I take the macro hatch as I'm droning my third. Is that too soon, or do you normally wait till your third is fully saturated before you take the macro hatch?
Normally, I try and wait until I'm roughly starting up a fourth base, and then take the macro hatch. So I'm basically trying to take my fourth and my macro hatch around the same time. If I have a lot of income though, or I'm missing injects, I'll just take it earlier. So whenever you feel like you're gonna run out of larva, you know, you get that feeling like, hey, I'm probably not gonna have enough larva here in a bit. I probably missed an inject or two in this match. Yeah.
Because usually Ling infested, you definitely need a macro hatch, just because like Lings are so larva intensive.
Yep. Now I would say on like 4 bases you probably need 1 macro hatch. But anyway, this is like half of the, I would say probably half or maybe even more of all of the Zerg vs Terran games, like the 60 Marine drop. And from here on out, you can quite easily defend against it. So the way you scout it is by either seeing, like, I guess I can write that down too. So the way to scout it is either by seeing one of the buildings. So if it's double barracks, it's 100% this build. If you see a factory producing a reactor and a starport right next to it, they're gonna switch over and it's 100% this build. Other than that, if you see seeing more than 4 Marines, I guess. Anything along those lines, you know, it's a pretty obvious tell that it's gonna be this drop. So once again, the way to counter it, start units, start non-stop units around 4:30, and then make basically non-stop units 5:30 or so. So that's at least the way I've been countering it, and how most of the top level Zergs will counter this as well. Yeah, pretty straightforward, right? I don't know if you have any questions about it.
No, it seems pretty straightforward. Now, I've noticed that they have late upgrades, so if they don't deal damage, to me it seems like they get put a little bit behind.
Yeah, it kind of depends. Like, you see a lot of variation with this build as well. Like, for example, you see people adding in a couple of Widow Mines into it just to try and be annoying, or they scan really aggressively and they clean up all the creep. It seems like at the professional level of play, they don't even try and do damage anymore in the sense of like killing workers or your units, but they just go after the creep spread. Yeah, I don't know. It seems a good build though to sort of like contain the Zerg, because if you go really aggressive in the early game, they can hold it quite easily, like you saw in the match you just showed me. They get enough units to defend, but then they also have enough here to get that third command center out quite early. Now in this game, my opponent decides to go for more barracks, and he just starts dropping all over the place. So I guess we'll go over that in just a little bit. This is where hotkeys come into play, by the way. I guess I can show you right now as well. So, in this case, like, I know my opponent will more than likely be dropping, right? So if I see, this is actually a little tip, I guess, that you can try and implement in pretty much all, like, Zerg versus Terran. Basically, if you see one dropship, and I think I see one right now actually moving past in the top lane. I'm not sure if that's true. Yeah, so I see these medevacts being loaded up. As soon as you see these kind of dropships move across the map, immediately split up your units and assume they're gonna be dropping in 2 different locations. Even if you haven't seen like the second dropship move out, just like assume they're gonna be somewhere else as well, because a good Terran player will always drop at 2 places. So basically, I'm already preemptively making sure that I got my units like right here in the main base, as well as in the natural, right?
Okay.
And I'm not even hotkeying these right now. Well, I've got them hotkeyed, but I'm not like controlling them using the hotkeys. I'm just boxing them around. I'm just trying to like get units right here in my third base. I'm trying to get some in my main base, and I'm trying to get some in my natural. Just enough to like clean up all these dropships. So while I've seen the one right here up in the north, I've not seen the one right here at the bottom. Right? The one in the bottom, well, I guess I can see it right now. Or I may have just been able to see it. But that's basically the idea, right? You kind of, like, pretend that there's always going to be a double drop, and you just split up your units by default.
Yeah. Well, see, I have, like, so many lings with my style. It's pretty easy for me to deal with this harass.
Alright.
That's why I really don't take punishment from it. And if I do attack, I usually... put, you know, a spine and a spore to kind of just, you know, hold them off. But usually I have ultras by the, I think in that Protoss game it was by the 10-minute mark.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think my biggest problem is like with how many Widow Mines he has. Now, do you use your Overseers mostly to take the Widow Mine hints, or do you just try to sacrifice lings for the most part?
Yeah, so what I'm doing here, against the Widow Mines, so he pushes right here. There's not really any magic rule, it's just a bunch of boxing and, like, trying to not eat damage. So if I play it on normal speed, like, I know my opponent is going to be pushing here. So basically the way I'm trying to engage it is, first off, like, you always want to fight on creep.
Detected.
Ooh, your radius, thank you for the resub.
Why 3 months, 9 to go. Love your stream, Loco.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you for the resub. Appreciate it. Yeah, so first is Widow Mines. First off, fight on creep. So, like, that's where creep spread comes into play and why it's so important. Basically, you need to make sure you fight on creep. But secondly, like, it's just a bunch of boxing, I suppose. I mean, I'm not doing anything super special. I'm just trying to push forward like that, and I'm trying to split off units like that, you see?
Oh, yeah, I see what you did.
So I'm basically trying to, and you see good Terran players, they will like unburrow the Widow Mines repeatedly, which is a pain in the ass too. But yeah, I'm just trying to engage this army without like all of my units clumped up together. That's just gonna be a bunch of trial and error, I guess. It's just it's gonna be a bunch of painful losses.
You dealt with the Widow Mines pretty well. But see, like, he didn't do any damage to you, and I feel like he's just gonna get ran over now. So
I think I decided to back up here. Just because I play a bit differently than you do, I guess.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, looking back at this, I probably could have gotten pretty aggressive. I don't know. I always feel like I might want to hit with upgrades instead. So in this case, I'm going +2/+2 Muta. So +2/+2 ground and Muta. And I just like continue from there. But yeah, you're right. I probably could have continued to attack. I mean, that's mostly stylistic, I guess.
Because you could have attacked the natural and forced him to come down, and you had a few Banes to kind of force him back.
I'll just call it like fighting on creep and dancing around. That's kind of it. Like you kind of dance around a bunch of the Zerglings. I'm just boxing them. It's nothing. I'm not hotkeying. Yeah. I'm just boxing small chunks of my army and like moving them forward. I think that's how most people do it anyway. Yeah. So fighting off creep, it's much more scary. Now that I've finished up 2-2, I'm feeling much more comfortable doing that, but yeah.
Now, when you go Hive, normally?
So, yeah, I usually go Hive either after the 2-2, or I just try and close out the game with 2-2 and +1 attack Mutas. That was the build that I was going for in this game. I was going +2/+2 on Zergling Baneling, and then +1 attack on Flyer. But otherwise, I would just go ahead and put up my Infestation Pit and start teching up towards a Hive right about right then.
Okay. Now I was going against a Terran player that plays like a Villo and goes like Mass Ravens. What the hell do you do against Mass Ravens? I don't know what to do, man. Like Seeker mission is just...
Yeah. So Mass Raven is like... Well, you mentioned earlier that you don't really play Swarm Host, right? Like, that is one of the few instances where Swarm Hosts are absolute gods. So the thing about Mass Raven is that it takes about 4 years to build up. I mean, well, maybe a little exaggerated, but like, it takes a long time to build up a mech-based army, right? So it basically comes down to getting as many Swarm Hosts as you can. If you can get, well, not as many as you can, but basically you're trying to harass them with Swarm Hosts initially to try and slow down their economy. But it's a pain in the ass. It takes a long time. It's like, it's one of these things I can try and help with, but it's so uncommon to fight against, you know, that it's...
Well, what makes it so difficult is they sit there and turtle in their base, and like
Mhm.
you'll be on 6 bases and throw armies and throw armies and throw armies, and then they just come out and kill you.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, so
it's not
first
very
is
fun.
first is like first is Turtle Terran, just swarm host harass and basically prevent them from taking expansions. That's kind of the main goal, I guess. That's kind of what you're trying to achieve there. So you're trying to make sure that they don't get to that maxed out stage. If you allow them to get to 200 on like Thor siege tank and then a whole lot of Raven, that's game over. I don't think you can actually fight it. Unless you want to, like, you know, play super laid back into Spore crawlers and spine crawlers and all that, but I can't be bothered with
Do
that.
you use Vipers against it for a parasitic bomb, or no?
I use probably Vipers a little too little. they once upon a time like did a lot of damage nerf to Parasitic Bomb, and I've been like, you know how Protoss players are currently refusing to use Adepts just because they got HP removed out of the unit? I'm kind of still feeling that way. I'm still a little salty about the damage reduction on Parasitic Bomb, so I've been not playing it nearly as much as I should. So I don't personally play it as much. It's good though. Like if they clump up together, I mean, it's probably your best option. One thing that also sometimes works if you're really going up against mass Raven, and they're like sitting back and they're like turtling, is to go Corruptor, and with the most recent like Corruptor buff, they fly a lot faster. If they Hunter Seeker missile your Corruptor, is to fly them into the Ravens. You get about like
an exploded army.
yeah, you got like 5 seconds to try and make that work, but you know, once you get it to work, it feels pretty good. But other than that, it seems like it's pretty much impossible to win.
Okay.
Yeah, and Blinding Cloud. Yeah, so Chessington in the chat is saying like I'm not a fan of Parasitic Bomb, he says, but I'm in love with Blinding Cloud. Blinding Cloud is great against Terran mech as well.
Well, I can imagine like fungal growth and parasitic bomb is a pretty nasty combo.
Yeah, I saw Snoot play that at DreamHack just I think that was yesterday actually. He played so the thing is, like, a really common composition for Zerg is to go Roach, Ravager, Infestor, and you basically fungal dropships or you fungal any units and then you follow it up with Corrosive Biles. Because normally Corrosive Biles obviously are hard to hit air with, but if you get the medics, or the medevacs rather, to be fungled, obviously they can't move. But he was adding on like Vipers to that as well in the late game. So he was playing with Roach, Ravager, Infestor, Fungal, Parasitic Bomb, and then also Queen support. So he was basically going like 4 Zerg spellcasters. It's really tough to control. So I mean, you can give it a try if you're feeling ballsy, but I don't know. I find it a little too far. I can't do it.
Now here's a question: is Lurkers an option if they're not going for Siege Tank? Because obviously the Siege Tank outranges the Lurker, but if they're not going for Siege Tank, is Lurker viable?
I want him to be, but like I feel like in most instances it's better to just go Mutiling Hydra or Mutiling Bane, or like, well, even Infesterling Bane, or just tech up towards the Hive faster. I don't know, like I've always, every single time I try it, it either like absolutely demolishes Terran, or you just sort of die while trying to get, you know, Hydras out, because Hydras are not that great against Terran.
Okay.
So like it kind of depends on the situation, I guess. For the most part, I feel like not really. I want him to work. Maybe someday people will figure out a build to make it work, but like
Because
Terran players just
apparently
they harass like mad, dude. It's hard to tech up.
Because apparently the god unit composition is Hydras, Broodlords, and Vesters, apparently. So
yeah. Queens are pretty sweet too. Queens are really good.
Queens.
Basically, all Zerg spellcasters are really good, but they're hard to they're hard to control.
I watch Vibe a lot, and he has like 15 queens at all times.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's see. If you do you have a game where you're playing against another Terran player? Maybe we can see another Terran build real quick. So like the first most common option is gonna be like that 60 Marine drop, and then the second one would be more that like Liberator, Banshee, Hellion sort of opener.
Okay, I found one. This is the BM game that I did. I was frustrated. I felt like 3 Terrans in a row and lost every game. So.
All right. Well, fair enough. Oh, there we go. Stanny in the chat is saying he's a diamond level Terran at 4,000 MMR as well. Nice. Guess we found an opponent.
I think this is another game I was confused on what he was doing. Like, for some reason, Terrans have been taking expansions extremely late, and it throws me off because I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're gonna all in me. And so then I make a bunch of roaches, try to attack them, and then, oh no, okay, I know what I did. So
Donation
when I scout, I see
Just
two
arrived in
factories.
Schaffhausen.
Wait, hold on
Something
1 second. I
Now
can't hear
winding
you.
down
There's a
with
donation.
famous Loco stream.
Oh.
Yo, Gouchy Berlin, thank you for the 27 euro, dude. Wait, he says he just arrived in what? In Schaffhausen. Now winding down with Loco stream. Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the 27 euro. If I could see a round of hearts in the chat, it would be awesome. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there, man.
No, you're good. So when I scout, I see two factories. So I'm thinking
Right.
this guy's gonna get blue flame helmet all in me. So I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna make a bunch of roaches and just kill them.
Right, yeah, this is a
you
new
know.
school build. Yeah. I see
So-
why you would imagine Blue Flame Hellion. Yeah. Super generous,
So-
by the way, man. 27 euro, that's a lot. Yep, so this is one of the builds, right? This is one of the builds. This is Cyclone Hellion, and it's kind of painful. At least I'm not seeing any Cyclones just yet, but there you go, yeah.
So I just make a bunch of roaches, go to attack them.
Right.
I kind of backtrack, which is a mistake. I should have just kept going. And then I see 4 cyclones, and I'm like, what in the world?
Yep.
So I try to fight this army, and it just crushes me.
Yep. You
Ow.
basically played right into his hand here. Like, that's exactly what he was going for. But this is mostly just, like, one of those builds you're not aware of because it's not super common. But then, when you play against this the second time, it becomes much easier to counter this. You can see, though, how good Cyclones are. I guess you've experienced that right now, how good fucking Cyclones are.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, I'll just make a bunch of lings. They counter the cyclones.
Right.
And
Yeah, so the basic counter, so this is one of the other builds, right? So the first one we saw was a 60 marine drop. And then we got like a bunch of different varieties on factory openers. So this is one that you will see maybe every now and then. It's not super common. But this is like the Cyclone Hellion build. So this is something that Innovation was doing a bunch. And this transitions towards mech usually. Yeah, so in this case as well. So I'll just write down a bunch of different builds. And I'll just send you over that list a little later because it's probably efficient.
now I'm not blamed for thinking automatically this was gonna be a blue flame hellion all in when I saw those 2 factories, right?
No, it used to be. Like back in the day, it would be like a blue flame hellion build. It's like basically the legacy of the void version of a much stronger blue flame hellion build.
Yeah, there's my VM.
Well, that wasn't all too much. Let me see. Let's see if I got a game against this too. I played a match like this a couple of days ago where I completely like walked over the guy. From scouting something very, very similar. So the general damn it, I think I called it clean. So the general rule of thumb, I guess, to fight against this is Ravager Ling Roach. People were struggling against this build for like months until people figured out how to counter it. So the way to do it is Ravager Ling Roach. No, I don't think this is it. I'm just checking out a few replays right here. It's much easier to show you from an actual replay. Does anyone in the chat remember when I played that game? It was a couple of days ago only. Oh, right, here we go. I named it properly. Very clean defense against double factory is what I called the replay. Well, shit, that's that was easy. Yeah, could you give me the party lead real quick?
Yeah. I was about to remove you.
All right then. Yeah, so we got Zerg vs Terran 60 marine drop, and then we got Zerg vs Terran double factory. So this one isn't as common nowadays, but you'll still see it every now and then. I made a bunch of videos on this. I would like to think that I had some influence on the ladder, but I don't know. Alright, so the basic idea is to go Roach, Ravager, Zergling. The reason for it is if you go Roach Ravager, you would just get crushed by the Cyclone, and if you go Mass Zergling, you just get crushed by the Hellion Hellbat.
Yeah.
So basically, you want to make sure that you get to the point where you can actually produce Roach Ravager, Zergling, right?
Now, are you using the lings kind of like a wall, like what you do with Ling Bane? You use the lings kind of wrap it around and then crash your Banes into.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, you kind of want to try and surround the Cyclones with the Zerglings, while having the Roaches and the Ravagers do the damage, right? So if you can surround them, the Cyclones, of course, can just be like biled to death. Just the corrosive bile is really good.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is get 2 base saturation, 3 gas, and then go Roach, Ravager, Zergling. So a lot of people have the tendency to start making units a little too early. You can basically get away with not making too many units for a little while. So notice right here, I didn't really make anything, even though I scouted this quite early. So I scouted, I think, right now here. Yeah, with the Overlord here in the back. So this Overlord position on this map is pretty sweet, by the way.
Yeah, see, when I saw this, I was like, oh, he's going for a Blue Flame Hellion, so I just was like, okay, well, I'm going to kill him with a bunch of Roaches.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Like, that's the thought process, right? So, yeah, you basically just drone up until you've got 2 bases saturated on minerals, and then you take 2 more gases in the natural. And in this case, I take the 3rd here as well, just to sort of like bait him out, I guess. But I'm not planning on mining from that. So the nice thing is about defending this, basically you just sit back, get the 3 gases going, start making Roach, Ravager, Ling. You just overmake units, because when they play this style, usually they follow it up with either 2 more factories or 3 more factories. But basically they don't get any tech labs on those factories until much too late. So usually if you just go and overmake units, you can just simply counterattack and win the game right there.
Okay.
So in this case, I scouted it. I went as many drones as I, dare to. I could probably squeeze out a few more here, but don't really need to.
Now, are you using your 3rd basically as like a macro hatch for the most part?
Yeah, pretty much. Like if I have to, I can drone up again. I'm also using it for creep spread to like, get some creep out.
Yeah.
So I basically just want to fight him.
He actually went Hellbats. The other guy didn't go Hellbats.
Yeah, I think he wanted to a little later. But I mean, this guy's super high up on the ladder. I don't really know exactly what level it would be, but he's probably like top 500 or so, right? And we can just shut it down just like that. Now I'm reinforcing here mostly with Zerglings, so I get additional gas to morph in more Ravagers. So the perfect composition would be like Ravager Zergling. So like if you're reinforcing with Zerglings only, you can just morph in more and more Ravagers. So at this point, okay, I'm just pushing him back, and then. Well, I mean, I know for a fact that he's not going to be capable of getting a whole lot. This guy's even starting up with 3rd TC, apparently. And he just kind of...
So you're using the biles to basically contain them, then?
Yeah, exactly. Like, kill whatever you can with the biles, basically. Like, since it's cooldown based anyway, you may as well use it as often as you can. So, like, I'm just biling a bunch of depots and stuff.
Yeah, you weren't lying about straight killing them right afterwards.
But that's basically it, though. Like, if you know it, it's pretty easy. So... Yeah, it's 2 base saturation, 3 gas, Roach, Ravager, Zergling, and just like wait for him to engage on creep. Once again, like if you can surround the units with a bunch of Zerglings, yeah, just surround them right there, and then like overmake. I guess I overmake units, and then counterattack.
Now, what about if he did have like made it, because he made a 3rd CC. If he did make 2 more factories and had a tanks posted, do you just go ahead and start droning your 3rd, or do you keep going?
Yeah, so like if they go Cyclone Heli, like I've played this build a ton as Terran as well, right? It basically I played a bunch of Terran for a whole while, and we managed to get to Master 1 just playing this strategy over and over again.
Oh wow.
So like the one thing that's basically pretty apparent while playing this is that you're really scrambling minerals. So you can't really make SCVs constantly, and you can't really produce out of your factories constantly. So usually you're cutting out a few SCVs here and there already. So like to add on a bunch more factories is pretty expensive. So normally the follow-up would be, or like the normal setup, right, would be to go for a quick expansion as Terran, go double factory with reactors and start pumping Cyclone Hellions. and then eventually add on a third command center, then 3 more factories. That's basically the thought process they go for. And then the 3 factories that they add on after the third CC, that's the one they add tech labs on. So it's gonna be much later, you know. It's not gonna be.
Oh, okay,
it's gonna be like 7 minutes for the first siege tanks at earliest. I think.
Now they don't have to research siege mode anymore, huh? They
No.
just straight up.
Wait, was that a
mode.
thing in Wings of Liberty as well?
Yeah, it was.
Oh man, I know that being a thing in StarCraft 1. Was that really a thing? Oh man,
Yeah, they had to research siege mode.
I completely forgot about that. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed with how fast I went up the ladder because, like, you know, just seeing how much faster paced the game is compared to what it used to be.
Yeah.
Is
yeah. It you know, macro goes a long way, I guess. You had to research Siege, dude. I forgot about that. That is so long ago. Now you mention it, I knew it was a thing in StarCraft 1, but that's sick. Yeah. I didn't play much Terran back then. Alright. Anyway, so this is like another one of the builds, right? So it's Cyclone Hellion. You'll probably see this like maybe a 1 in 10 ZVTs or something. Like it's not super common. Anyway, I wrote down as well how to counter it. Seems pretty straightforward, right? I don't know if you got any questions or whatever about it.
It makes a lot of sense. You don't go over like, you only go like 4 Ravagers, right? You don't make like 10 of them.
Yeah, so like basically what I'm doing, I'm reinforcing with non-stop Zerglings. So if I have leftover gas, I'll just morph in as many as I can. So basically the more Ravagers, like the best composition would be Ravager Zergling. But since you can't really make Ravager Zergling work because you just don't have the gas early game, if you reinforce with Zerglings, you'll build up more gas so you can, you know, add on more Ravagers.
That makes sense. And you only stay on 3 gases, right?
Yep. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward in that sense. You just need to have units out in time before this guy comes on. So like if he moves on creep, that's basically when you engage. Don't move off creep. That's, you know, unnecessary.
Watch the one time I'm gonna like, oh yeah, this is the build he's doing. I'm gonna get killed by blue flame hellions. How much you wanna bet?
I mean, if you fly in, right? So like I'm still clicking here. I think I should be clicking. So I fly in with the Overlord. Well, I think I've already flown in. So like I'm still flying in here with the Overlord, right? Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what build I'm going up against. You can still click on the reactor that's building, right? So you can see if it's a reactor or a tech lab. If it's a tech lab, it's gonna be blue flame hellion.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, so like if it's a reactor, right? I don't know if I click on it right here. I think I should. Let's see if I'm good enough to click on that thing. All right, so I can see it right now. Come on, Loko, click on the damn thing. I'm not clicking on it, dude. It's not happening anymore. Like, I haven't seen a blue flame hellion opener in so long, and even then, you still got Roach Ravager, you know. So it's probably still right. Yeah. Anyway, so that's one of the other builds as well. I don't know if you've got a game by any chance against someone who's going. Oh damn, we're already going an hour. Damn, that's fast. I don't know if you got a game against someone who's playing that benchy Liberator bullshit that you were struggling against.
Oh man, I think it was on NA. Is what I fought the guy that was going for the Liberator bullshit.
All right. Well, like, I guess if we want to play some games, we should probably go ahead and do so.
Yeah.
Basically against that, so we got the 60 Marine drop, we got the double factory one. Against that style, you would scout a factory with Reactor, and then a starport with Tech Lab. Those are basically your 2 options. If you see something like that, you just simply build Spores in mineral lines. And you should go for a Roach Warren and a Lair first before getting upgrades. Hold on, there we go. Before upgrades, so before Evo chambers, you got Roach Warren and a Lair, as well as Spores in the mineral line. And that should put you quite safe against all of that.
Now, the Liberators, I noticed 2-shot queens. So,
right.
Do you just make a whole bunch of queens, or?
No, so like basically what you do, you build the Spore Crawler and you uproot it and you put it wherever the Liberator's trying to be annoying. And then usually like the queens are built just barely to be able to shoot on the edge. You know, basically you can walk to the side and like shoot them from the side.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
It's a little annoying. Yeah, there's like a really there's like a really narrow area where you can just barely shoot at it. Now there's also some variations, like there's basically, that's the thing about Terran that's probably throwing you off. There's like a lot of different builds. Like some go for like ranged Liberator pushes, or some go clogged Banshee, or some go, it's hard to scout. Basically, like just build a Spork crawler in the middle line, and you can get up to 4 to 6 queens or so. That's totally fine. I built 4 queens every ZVT myself.
That's why I don't have any issues against Protoss or Zerg, because you already know, you see something, you're like, okay, he's doing this.
Right.
But with Terran, you see something and it's so easy to mistake
There's a
what
lot of
they're going
variety.
for.
Yeah. So how many queens do you build? I didn't actually check it in the games we just saw.
Normally, when I go against Terran, I usually go up to 4 to 6.
All right.
The creep spread, because like the deal with Hellions, mostly Hellions for the most part. So
Yeah.
Zerglings.
Queens are pretty much as good as it gets early game defense. Like they're really good.
Now, would you say going more than 4 to 6, or is that sufficient?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can if you really want to. I know some people go pretty high up in queens. I would not really go over 6 if you want to play a more or less standard one. But if you really like, if you got minerals, right, and you got the minerals to make more queens, and you can't spend your larva anymore because you don't have any. I mean, it's totally fine to go 9 queens, I guess, if you need to queue up 3 more. I mean, if you've got the resources for it, and you know you're gonna be in trouble, and you can't really inject properly, and you're losing too much shit. I mean, queens are pretty feel safe, I guess, in the early part of the game. And they're good as well if you switch into ultras early on, so it's not the end of the world.
Now, Liberators versus Air, they like obliterate mutas. So is Corruptors the answer to them? Or?
Yeah. So they do splash damage to a small area, Air. It's sort of like magic boxing against Thors. Do you remember that from a long time ago? Yeah. So basically, you have to sort of like magic box Liberators, which feels really dumb. If it's a lot of Liberators, definitely Corruptor. Like Corruptor's the way to go. If it's just a couple of Liberators, you don't really have to add on Corruptor. Corruptors are still pretty solid right now, though. They're much more mobile than they used to be. Like in Wings of Liberty, Corruptors were only used to, well, more Brute Lords. That was really the use of a Corruptor, right?
I miss the old spell, man. The 20% damage increase, man.
Oh, right. Yeah. Corruption. I forgot about that one, too. That's a long time. Now they get Caustic Spray. It's pretty sweet, too.
I haven't even messed with it yet. So
it's actually really good. Like Caustic Spray, basically, it does damage to a building, right? But it's damage, like, I don't know how much it is, but I think it quadruples after, like, 6 seconds. So you can kill a Nexus super quickly with... hold on, okay? I'll show you real quick. Could you toss me the party lead real quick?
Yeah.
I'll just show you real quick before jumping into a game. Yeah, if someone could mention that... Or Stanny, if you're currently in the in-game chat, could you say it real quick? That you're there? That would be cool. Yeah, could you accept the thingy real quick?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll just show you real quick the strength of Caustic Spray. I underestimated it for the longest time. It's actually pretty fun. So this is like a unit test map where you can just quickly test a couple of things. It's pretty sweet, actually, if you have any questions or about anything. I check this, like, pretty much every day, it feels like. I mean, you've been watching the stream quite a bit. You probably see me messing this.
Yeah.
I'll just go for a field and I'll just build, I don't know, 5 Corruptor. There we go. Now, say you're up against the Protoss or whatever. Sorry, go ahead. Actually, wait. You have to build you actually have to build a Nexus. Could you build a Nexus? I can't control it. I think you can control the blue probe. There we go. Yeah, so basically the way it works, normally you deal 7 seconds per second, or 7 damage per second rather, but after 4.3 seconds, it increases to 35 damage per second.
Oh, wow.
So if you just look at the Nexus, I'll just spam Caustic Spray right here. Basically, right now the damage is not that great, but after a couple of seconds, you'll see it start increasing right there. You see that? Like, the damage output becomes really high.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so if you don't have like 3, like they're actually pretty tanky as well. Like 3 Stalkers are not gonna stop this. So if you've got them available, I mean, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, but I don't see people like, oh, you haven't made Corruptors a sniper base.
Yeah, it's actually like if you've got them though, it's actually a pretty legit way. I mean, do you use rapid fire, by the way? Do you know what rapid fire is?
I have no idea what rapid fire is.
So like, if you use Corruptors, how do you like play the spell? Because I can cast them really quickly, right?
I use shift.
Right. All right. Yeah. So here's one thing. If you hit F10, you go into options. And you go into hotkeys. Do you use grid or do you use standard or what do you use?
I use grid.
All right. What you do is you go to global, unit management, and then you go to choose ability or AI target.
Choose ability. Let's see.
It should be near the bottom. It should be under unit management.
Oh
Unit
yeah,
management.
or AI target. Okay.
Yeah. So the default key should be left mouse button, right?
Mhm.
Add a second hotkey to that, Z for Z.
Okay.
And just save that. So basically, what that does, and I'll give you a bunch of Ravagers right there. Basically, what that does, if you control click or you select all of your Ravagers and you hold down Z and you wave around your mouse or Z, I guess. We're talking American here. If you just hold down Z, it will just spam the ability.
Oh, so you don't have to mess with shift anymore.
No,
That's so
you
sick.
can literally just hold down a button and wave it around. So you should be able to cast it much faster. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it's super helpful. Now you gotta keep in mind it spams every ability on Z right now. So if you've got Caustic Spray, it will spam that. If you got Infested Terrans, you can do the same thing actually for Infested Terrans if you want to try that.
Oh, really?
So like just walk them over, like to right there or so, and then like hold down Z and shift and just queue them up. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
super
that
good.
is sick, man.
It's so much faster. That was something that wasn't available in Wings.
Yeah, because you had to hold shift and kind of just.
Yep.
So.
That's
cool.
actually like a league changer right there.
That's a huge change, man. That's crazy.
So if you got like, for example, in ZVZ, it's really important. So say, I don't know, it's like 10 Ravagers, 10 Roaches for both ends. It's a game changer in every matchup, to be fair. But if it's, for example, like this, I can easily spam the ability while you're trying to chase me, right? And I can sort of just use it whenever I please, just to try and get some pot shots off, just like that.
Oh yeah, that's sick. I see what you're saying.
And it's the same for like, for example, if you've got a bunch of Ravagers and you're going up against, I don't know, a bunch of Terran medic vacs like that. And I got, I don't know, a few Infestors as well. So like that's the reason why Infestors and Corruptors are so, or rather Infestors and what are they called? Ravagers are so common. Like I can basically fungal your units and then follow it up with Corrosive Biles just like that. And that's all rapid fire like that. So it makes it much easier to like catch units like that. But because otherwise, like if you have to click it, well there you go. If you have to click it, like it can be missed quite easily.
Yeah.
So that's
That
actually a
makes
game
sense.
changer already.
Yeah, that's huge. I wonder if I could still use it in Wings because I mess with Wings still.
Yeah,
But
you can use it in you can use that as well.
That's cool.
So that's a pretty important one.
Now, how does it work with Fungal? Do you still have to manually use it with Fungal?
Yeah, so it only goes for keys at hotkey Z. So if you've got you know, fungal is X for me.
Oh yeah.
You can go into the hotkey management and add on several hotkeys if you wanna, but I personally only use 2. I know that for example Snoot, I'm sure you know Snoot, right? Well, at least I think so. He used to be around back in the day as well, but I know he uses like 4 or so different hotkeys for. We basically have to go into like a text editor and like edit it manually, which apparently is allowed in tournaments. So. Also, just real quick, because I just noticed mine is off, because I was making some screenshots. If you go into gameplay, into the options and then into gameplay, show flyer helper in the bottom left corner. Is that on always?
Oh, it was on select.
All right, yeah, no, that's a big one as well. So if you put that one on always, if I clear out the battlefield real quick, so I'll give you, I don't know, a bunch of these dudes. I give myself a bunch of these medevacs. There's a little circle underneath my medevacs. That's exactly where you need to aim the corrosive bile.
Oh, okay, I see. That's cool.
So that's also a pretty big deal. Like you can see exactly where you need to aim it right now, rather than just rather than just having to like sort of like mix and matches, I suppose. I'm trying to think if there's anything else important.
They really made a lot of quality of life changes, which
Yep.
I'm still doing things the hard way, apparently. It's that Wings of Liberty, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so like the nice thing is you can still hit like Z-click, Z-click, Z-click on your corrosive bios if you want to be really specific.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also just hold down and like wave it around. So it's, you know, there's options, right? Which is nice. What else is there? All right, so we should actually talk about, I guess, hotkeying the eggs, right? We may not actually have time to play games, I'm afraid. I don't know. We may have time for one. That's all right.
Well, see, I gotta pick up my brother here in about 40 minutes, so I have time for like one game.
Cool.
But that's pretty much about it.
Cool. Yeah, so I'll show you real quick how to hotkey units while building them still, right? Because that was one of the things you were asking earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just go ahead and create a game with a mod real quick. Is there a game that I can get a lot of stuff with? Isn't there one where I can get started with a ton of... Does anyone know what the extension mode is called, where you start off with a lot of resources? Just to sort of get a bunch of hatcheries out really early. I know there is one somewhere, otherwise we need to micro. Or otherwise we need to macro for a little bit. I'll just search money. Minerals. Is Big Game Hunters? Does Big Game Hunters start off with a lot of gold? Really? Oh, I didn't
Now,
even
as
know
far as my macro goes, did you think I was doing pretty well on that?
Oh yeah,
for the
no,
most part?
like the macro was definitely way above Diamond League. I mean, you weren't really flooding at all, so.
Okay.
I think that's what's been carrying you so nicely through through the ranks. I mean, you got a really solid win rate for, like, considering you were Diamond a couple years ago. It's like riding a bicycle, I guess, right? Even if you haven't done it in a while, you could still pick it up.
Yeah, like surprisingly. Well, what took me a little bit was the how fast paced the game is, because
Right.
I was like, whoa, like why am I getting so much more minerals?
Right. Yeah, you just start off with more workers. It just eliminates like the first minute or so. Just click return to game, by the way, when it opens up.
Okay.
So do you have a lot of resources? Well, there's no opponent, by the way. But do you have a lot of minerals already?
No. Like when you, by the time you get your like third base, I feel like you just get minerals a lot faster than what you.
No.
do.
I mean, like, I wanted to just practice the hotkeying thingy real quick. I tried finding an extension mod that starts off with a lot of minerals, but I don't know if this is the one.
Okay. No. This is just regular. Well, if you want, like, I'll just make a spawning pool right away.
Yeah, exactly. Just make a spawning pool, like a hatchery or whatever, and just, I mean, it's faster than trying to find an extension mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm watching this through your vision, so I can sort of see your selection. So, basically, you want to try and get into the habit of hotkeying your cocoons as soon as you can. So you can try it with drones as well if you want to. But basically, if you've got larvae available, if you hit 4 QQ or 4, you know, whatever unit you're trying to build, once you have those cocoons selected at the bottom side of the screen, you can hit Ctrl+1. Actually, that is one of the things I was still needing to discuss. Control, Shift, and Alt. Alt it added on later. Anyway, so you know how like you can create a control group by like Control+1, right?
Yeah.
If you hit Shift+1, you can add units to the existing control group of 1. So if you try and create a couple of Zerglings right now and just hit Shift+1, or yeah, exactly, you can rally those just like that. Now, if you were to create another one, if you hit Shift+1 right now,
Nah, see, Shift+1. Okay.
it adds it to the existing control group of 1. So you realize, like, right, or you see how you got 2 of them hotkeyed right now, and they will basically join each other as soon as they can.
Now, okay, so let's say I make one. Okay, so do I shift? No, I'm not doing that, right?
No, you are. Shift+1.
Am I?
Yep.
Okay, and then control one.
Nope, you don't need to control one. You just hit shift +1. That's literally all you need to do. Yep.
That's all you gotta do?
Yep. So sometimes though, like if you, for example, don't have minerals to spend all of your larva, you need to also additionally control click the units that you created at the bottom of the screen. So say right now, so could you save up like 3 larvae or so, or just wait until the object pops up?
I can.
Say you like want to spend half the larva or whatever, you need to control click the units at the bottom. So you deselect the larva, and then hit shift +1. So you'll see it in just a second. So if you want to create like 3
turn
sets
all
of
these into cocoons.
well, if you turn all of them into cocoons, it's just shift +1, right?
Whoops.
Well, fair enough. That's alright. Just save up a couple. So if you spend all of your larvae on cocoons, all you need to do is just simply hit shift +1, and that's fine. It gets a little more complicated when you don't want to add on any larvae, but it's pretty straightforward, I guess.
I guess it's easier when you're broke, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So say like you want to make like 3 sets of Zerglings right here and leave 1 larva.
Okay.
You want to control click the cocoons at the bottom.
Control click.
And then hit shift +1. Yes, that's it.
Oh, that's it.
That's all. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And
so that's a huge help.
Yeah. So if you accidentally add on all the larvae into the control group as well. So let's say you accidentally hotkey those 2, just add the ones that you got right there. Just so you accidentally have some additional ones. Yep, there we go. So if you accidentally add them to the hotkey group, you can remove them again as well quite easily. So can you add some larvae to the hotkey group? Like not cocoons, but just larvae.
Yeah, I can do that.
Just hit Q and then and just shift +1. So if you hit hotkey 1 right now, you know there's gonna be larvae in there, right? Yep.
Yeah.
So if you see the selection right there at the bottom panel, if you click the little button that says 2, and I actually can't see that if you got that selected, but you should see a bunch of the larvae, right?
Yeah, you just shift click them off.
Yeah, you can also hit Control + Shift and then hit Control +. So if you hit Control + Shift, you hold down both buttons. And you click on one of the larvae, you deselect all of them, and if you then hit Control +1 again, you recreate the hotkey group. Does that make any sense? Like that's a little. It makes sense in my head, but it's tough to explain.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try it one more time. So Control.
So say you have hotkey number 1, and there's a bunch of larvae in there. Are there any right now?
I'm shift clicking it into my control group. And
right.
Then,
yeah.
And then the larva. What am I doing with it again?
So if you click right now on the second, or if you have all the links selected and you click on the number 2, there's a bunch of larvae right there, right?
Yeah.
If you hold down Control Shift and you click on one of the larvae, it will deselect all of them, and if you then hit Control +1, you basically overwrite the hotkey group. Right.
Oh, okay.
So like that is basically just like, once you accidentally got a bunch of them in the hotkey. So right there, for example, you got a bunch of them in the control group of your hatchery. You can do the same thing right there. Hit Control + Shift, hold both of them down, and then click on one of the larvae to deselect them all. It's a little. It makes a lot of sense when you get it rolling. It gets a little more easy that way.
It's definitely gonna take time to adjust to. That's
so what I would recommend is like unbind the all army hotkey and just sort of force yourself to do that.
Well, see, I don't use I box things like.
All right. Well, fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
And I use my rally point. Like for example, when I'm attacking, let's say I'm attacking someone that's over here. So when I attack, I just set my rally point over there.
Right. Yeah, I would add your whole units to hold control groups rather if you can. Like it makes it much easier. But yeah, you can use a variety, I guess.
But like that's pretty much what I do is I just rally my stuff over there, which is actually really bad because I find myself when I rally and then I have to retreat. Like all my incoming stuff is like going into their deaths.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's why you want to try and hotkey it ASAP. Now, there's one thing to edit with Legacy as well, and that is if you go to your Zerglings and just put them all together, just like make one big clump. Yeah. Say you like slice off half of those units. So you got hotkey 1 selected right now. So notice right there, there's like 72, right? Or 72, right? It says right there at number 1. If you select half of your Zerglings and hit Alt +2.
Alt +2?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, then okay. So then you kind of like So then you.
Yeah, I think you hit Shift +2. So just have all of them on one hotkey group.
Yeah.
Just have everything
they're-
on one hotkey group? Yeah, so everything is on one right now, right?
Mhm.
If you slice off half of it and you hit Alt +2, it should remove them out of hotkey group number 1 and add them to hotkey group number 2. So if you select half of the Zerglings, just box around them and hit Alt +3 or Alt +4 or Alt +5, whatever.
Okay.
Are you hitting Alt?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. It should remove a bunch of the units. So like for me, the number stays 72 for hotkey group 1. Because these links are still in hotkey group 1 right now as well, right?
Yeah, because they're all on the same thing. Now when I shift control 1 or alt control 1, that's putting them in a different control group.
Did you change up the hotkey by any chance?
Well, I have a mouse that has 16 buttons.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay. So you know about that thing, right? At least that you can make easier run by hotkey groups and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, fair enough. Now, if you, if you're like using a Naga
I
or whatever,
see what you're doing. You're just trying to. Well, see, like I see what you're saying because, like, when let's say you're attacking like this, then you can have a separate group to be able to swing back around. Or,
Yep.
So I definitely, and then when you attack, so let's say I move these over here, and then I have my whole army selected. I could just attack, move in, and then the whole army goes.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of the idea where you want to like be able to quickly create new control groups from like existing control groups in a way. So you can split up units and like, for example, if you go for a run by or whatever, you can easily split them up and like push into the third base while also moving to the other.
And while them still having them hotkeyed as well. So yeah, I definitely. Now I noticed. I'm not sure if I'm on drugs, but like, why can you sit there and larva inject when you have? Did you notice that?
Oh no! I think that's the map. Like I made an extension mod, so you know how you can create like a regular custom map. No, it's auto injecting. Yeah. So I basically created a big game hunters mod. Do you know big game hunters? It's basically like a custom game where you can like create a lot of extra shit. No, I was gonna say like there's a lot of larva available there, a little more than I thought. Yeah,
So
no, that's just this
you
mod.
can
That's not normal in the game.
Okay. I was about to say what?
Yeah. All right. Hey, I think it's time to play a game, right?
Yep.
Cool. Let's do it. No, I was gonna say that would be strange if you get auto injects. It says it right there at the top as well.
Make up all the lost larvae.
Let's see. Stanny. Is Stanny still here? He's right around the same MMR. I left the game, by the way.
Oh.
I don't know if you were still in there. I just left it. There we go. All right. Any map preferences? Any map in particular you want to play?
No, any map's fine.
All right. So here's what we'll do. Okay, I'll just go for the map Newkirk Precinct. That is like the let's go 60 Marine drop. We'll just pretend that you don't know that's coming. Okay.
Okay.
Oh shit, my StarCraft bugged out.
Well, I'll do my standard build that I was telling you about. So.
All right, cool. Yeah, so do keep in mind, right? We want to basically scout what kind of build he's going for, and then we want to respond accordingly. Okay. Oh,
okay.
I think I'm just gonna keep it on full screen. So do you remember like the way to counter it?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's play. Yeah, so basically scout it with the Overlord, try and get in there, and then start making units around 4.5 minutes. You can make drones until then. Okay?
Okay.
So on this map, like it's pretty easy to, you know, get into the back of his main base and go from there. Just don't sacrifice the Overlord. You can basically fly it in just far enough to see what buildings are up.
Okay.
Cool. You ready?
Yep.
It's gonna be a little different though when you have a bunch of people watch. little different than just playing by yourself.
I'm actually not like doesn't bother me at all for some reason.
No,
like
fair enough. Some people freak out. It's fine though.
Well, I've been a correctional officer for 5 years, so I really,
yeah, okay, fair enough. I guess it's hard to freak out when you do that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh god, there's people with
Uh-oh.
other than. Oh god, oh god. Great beginning. Nah, that's fine.
I know, right? I actually tend to do that a lot. I don't know why I do that so many times, but
Yeah, he's playing on the main stage now, chat. Be nice. Yeah, it's always funny though. Whenever I do coaching with people, some people are totally fine with it. Others are like, I feel like I can't play for the life of me. I don't even know what's going on right now. It's like, all right, fair enough. Like, I mean, you have this guy breathing in your neck, watching over your shoulder, like checking your every move, and then there's like 500 people watching at the same time as well, judging every moment.
well, see, I was wanting to, like I told you before, I was wanting to start streaming. So like, it really doesn't bother me if people are watching me.
Fair enough. Yeah, streaming's fun, man. Watching and judging.
I know, right?
Nah, it's all right. You'll be away, or you'll be a couple of leagues above the average stream viewer, so you should be fine.
Well, considering how far I progressed, like how fast I did, anyways, because I've only been playing for like 3 weeks, dude, or not 3 weeks, a month, and so I'm actually just getting to Diamond 2 is actually, I think, kind of impressive. Because
I think so too. Yeah.
You know, all I've been doing is watching you play and a bunch of other people, you know, vibe and stuff like that play. So I just kind of, I'm like a sponge, man. I just soak in information.
That's fair enough. Did he just have an idle drone for 1 second? Oh shit, chat. Get him.
Uh-oh.
There was an idle worker. Blasphemy. Not allowed.
I think the biggest thing is more drones in the gas. When people see that, they're like, "Oh, there's 4 drones in the gas."
Like, yeah, I'm losing all my hydras over here. It doesn't really matter that I got 4 in gas. Like, it really is not that big of a deal. Yeah, your APM, you know, you're not APM spamming as much, dude. You only have 200 average right now. I mean.
Only 200.
All right, don't lose the first Overlord. That one's a big one. Yeah, so let's leave it sort of in the back there, so you can fly it back in later to check out what's going on. Now we may end up losing it. That's all right.
Nah, it's gonna live.
Yeah, we may end up losing it when we scout. I mean, so basically the time that you want to scout isn't just a little bit. Basically they throw up their buildings quite early on into the match. Now, I would already consider going for a bunch of additional queens, and then afterwards, you can go for the 3rd base. So basically, as soon as you can afford the 3rd, that's kind of the timing. So, like, there's not really any specific super, you know, early timing or whatever. Just get it when you can. So if you can, try and poke in with the Overlord, just to see what's going on. Or with the Zerglings. Basically, just try and get an idea. Alright, so that already should be a pretty big tell, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So do make sure to get a bunch of additional Overlords then when you fly one in, or at least one additional extra. All right, I'd go for the 3rd base.
Our forces are under attack.
So, you know the strat he's going for right now?
Yeah, I saw the reactor and the tech lab.
Cool. So this build always hits past 5 minutes. That's one of the key moments to keep in mind. So you're basically free to drone until at least 4:30. Kind of depending on how good your opponents are, but basically as long as you start making units around 4:30, you should be able to get plenty of shit by the time this hits. But I would say that scout is crucial though. Like if you skip out on that scout, you're basically playing in the blind. Like or in the dark rather, you can't really do a whole lot. Yeah, you're plenty fast. You're plenty fast for Diamond too.
Am I?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of gas though. You want that much gas already?
Investors.
All right. But Lowko, investors.
But like, look what I'm doing as I'm technical Lair. There's a certain research that I'm getting, Um,
Get a little burrow.
yeah. So, because like by the time my infestation, because you have to have burrow. Burrow's just too good, and plus it helps banelings and. Oh.
So remember, like 5.5 minutes. 5.5 minutes
Well,
is when the guys
my
usually come in.
Overlord placement was not very good.
Yep. So I would make a lot more units here, okay? Like we basically were really skinny on the units. That doesn't even make sense. But I was right there, right? Like a build like that can just throw you off, even when you scout it really effectively. You really want to make units for a while longer, because this like against a good Terran, it's pretty much already game over, you know? Like they're not gonna let you come back from this point.
Yeah, I'm already dead.
All right, let's just GG out and go quick.
Okay.
Quick rego. But that's the reason why this build is so good, you know? Like it can throw you off. Like if you normally they hit into the third where you were hanging out there.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting is the third, not the main.
The 16 Marine GG. This is what people die to for like a year though. It's alright.
Well, see, no, like I said, they normally hit the third. So when he hit the main, it threw me off.
Yep. No, that's totally fair. But that's why practice is good, right?
Oh yeah. Well, so does Overlord placement.
Yeah.
If
That's
I
well
had
played,
Overlord
Bastan.
spread out over there, I would have seen the medevacs come in.
I would say you probably want to be a little careful teching up so much though, because if you tech up too much against like, I think in Master League, you may be able to pull it off for now, but I think against Master League, you're really going to struggle if you tech up against 1-1 and Lair and everything already, because you're just not going to have enough economy to follow it up with, you know?
I got you.
You could probably make it work for the time being though. But I'm just saying, like, at some point you probably want to switch it up. Just because, I mean, they'll get a third CC and drop mules.
I know, right?
Oh yeah, I die to it every now and then as well. When I go for a weird variation or whatever. Like some people are executed like gods. Like if you watch Innovation play, basically like the best mechanical player in the world, he hits at like 5 minutes and 10 seconds, like a good 20 seconds earlier even. That's, you know, that's when you were still making units. So basically, you want to make units from like 4:30 until 5:30 straight, okay? So like for a full minute, just make non-stop units. If you got extra minerals, just add on more queens. I usually go up to like 6 queens or so against this. But I prioritize circlings. Yeah, I think this will be the last game for today.
Yeah, normally I don't have a hard time, you know, holding that just because they normally hit the third. Now him
good.
switching it up and hitting the main, that's rough. Plus this map is like, because like he could just continuously drop between that little cranny right there.
Yep. Yeah, I hold key the queens all together as well. That makes that a little easier, so you can like shoot them away a bit easier. But to like just target fire down the medevac, I mean.
And you go to 4 to 6 queens, right?
So basically, I just make 4 queens initially, and then at 4:30, I just start making as many Zerglings as I can, and if I've got leftover minerals, that's where I add on additional queens. So I just consider them like 5
Lair
minutes.
too fast, or?
Yeah, I think you'll go to Lair and detect a little too quickly. You may be able to squeeze out the baiting nest and all that, but I feel like the Lair might be a bit too greedy. But like I said, you know, you may be able to pull it off for now in Diamond League, but I think at some point you're gonna have to slow down on it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, you'll figure that out. You'll figure that out the hard way.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I will.
That's okay though. Very good. No Reaper. Time to scout. Yeah, if you freak out a lot during the game, someone's asking in the chat, just go ahead and listen. Like, listening to the kind of music that you know, that calms you down actually helps out quite a bit. There's a reason why I don't listen to, like, heavy metal and, like, electronic dance music and whatnot on stream. It just pumps me up too much. I can't play like that. Some people can. I can't. it just really depends on what you prefer. I listen to a lot of like, I don't know, jazzy, hip hoppy kind of stuff. I guess nothing too fast.
I think your music is pretty good.
It's pretty. It's like generic good, you know, like everyone
Well,
kind of likes it.
Well, it's kind of soothing. Like my music is very soothing. I listen to like there's a lot of music I listen to from Death Note.
Yeah, I've never watched it. I've heard it. It's really good. But it's the same kind of like Japanese kind of chill stuff, right?
Yeah. But it has a lot of like violins and you know, all different kinds of different instruments.
Did someone say metal? What's up, Kisses? Every now and then I receive snaps from Kisses on my phone where he's just working out in the car listening to metal. It's like, alright, that's my weekly Kisses snap. Alright, so remember 4:30. That's when we start making units. I guess we're a little early. That's okay. Yep, so right now it's 39 versus 29 workers.
Normally, I'm already making units because I want to take advantage of my +1/+1 links.
Alright. So just put an Overlord in the little the position between your main bases, right? In the dead airspace. Yep. That's a big one. You should already actually have one in the middle of the, you know, you see that big empty area between I guess, you know, the two block bases.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I meant like between the main bases rather. Basically where the dropships will always fly past.
Yeah, right there.
No, actually in the south. Like below that.
Well,
right there. Yeah. It's hard to try and get you. I can't ping right now because I'm an observer. Maybe I can ping.
Yeah.
Can you see that? No. So there he comes in again. So ideally you're right underneath him when he drops. Because like you can see, right? He basically, if he drops and he unloads all of his marines, it's going to be really tricky to try and get the correct round. Now you may be able to just barely get this. But even then, it's still pretty tricky. But basically, you just want to put him in between the bases. Okay, so 1-1 is done right now. They should make it easier. Alright, cool. So once you've warded that off, you kind of want to try and see if you can build up that economy again. And ideally, you would like to get another scout in. So notice, by the way, that Overlord you got right now in the south, like in between your bases, that would have scouted it perfectly. So you see the one that you already have hanging right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a big one. You can see a lot of incoming drops with that. Now, the map pool is completely changing in like 2 days, though, so... That's
Great.
gonna be tricky. I think you may even be able to fight that. Well, it's hard to say. Yeah, I was gonna say. Cool. But notice, like, that's basically a lot of their early game pressure. Now, there's a couple of different follow-ups they can have. They can go for a third base. So I would try and keep a third, like, you know, potential units at their third base here. You know, they've got 2 different locations on this particular map. Just try and keep tabs on it.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's most definitely an indication he's probably going to try and expand here. There are Widow Mines, right? So be careful about that. Just run a couple of links instead. It's probably safer. Cool. Very good. Okay, so Pattern Glance is at 30 energy, right? I think it's a little early right now, the Infestor.
Oh yeah, it is. My bad.
Yeah, that's
I'm hitting the wrong button.
That's cool. Nah, you know about that, right? Like the timing on it. So basically, if the research
Yeah,
hits 30.
when it's halfway.
Yep. Yeah, roughly halfway. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone in the chat wondering if you're making pathogen glands, which is the infestor upgrade, if you start this when this timer hits 30 seconds, so you can mouse over it, it should say 30. You can start up your infestors, and it will finish up with the upgrade. Anything later than that is fine. Just a little tip. There you go. See, creep spreading is easier as well with rapid fire, with the really quick. I don't know if you used it right there, but you can just simply hold down Z right there, the same way of it with the corrosive bios. So if you don't want to fight against Widow Mines, by the way, try and always fight them on creep. That's like basically the golden rule.
Okay.
Standard 9-minute Ultra Cavern. This actually is a really legit build though. You see this quite a bit from Zerg. It used to be really popular when Legacy first came out because nobody knew how to fight +8 Ultra. Now, we'll just pretend your opponent isn't listening to this, by the way. You're like, shut up, dude! Why are you spoiling the plan, Lowko?
He's gonna like have like 50 Marauders just waiting for him.
Yeah, he's just producing Marauder and Liberator blindly. It's like, dude, why are you doing that? It's like, well, I was listening. Hey, we got Burrow, right?
Mhm.
Cool. Ooh. Yeah, let's morph more Banes. We need way more Banes. More fungals. Money! Ooh. Well, that was much better hotkeying right there. Oh man, if only we had more Banes. Yeah, so a good rule to keep, whenever you use Banelinks, make new ones, okay? So whenever you're about to use your Banelinks, immediately make new ones. At least that's a rule I've been keeping, and it makes life way easier. So not, you know, basically always just add on new ones as soon as you use the ones that you got right now. Dude, don't play with my feelings like that. Ooh, that Widow might hurt him a lot more than you. So notice right here, right? He's got really good upgrades here, or he's got a lot of air units already. I would start adding on like a bunch of Liberator or a bunch of Corruptor or whatever to this composition, because his Medevacs as well as his Liberators are just gonna add so much value. This is a good style though. It just needs a little more, like you just needed more Banes there. Really, that's all. This guy's not bad. He knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Well, it didn't help that I lost all my infestors either.
Yep. Yeah, they've got quite a bit of range. I think you may have a tendency to put them a bit too close. The range of Fungal was, I believe, shorter in Wings of Liberty. Once they added the missile, you know, the missile thingy, instead of it being instant. Once they added the missile, I believe they increased the range that it can be thrown at as well. That was good though. Good practice. Good progress.
But see, like that's how I normally crush a lot of Terrans, because I get ultras out pretty quick. I would say that's pretty pretty quick. It's just if I'm able to hold that first initial push, then I'm pretty much golden for the most part.
Yeah. I really like the droning there. I thought the droning was good. I really like the early upgrades. And attack in general, like, it's solid. Basically, to have the plan to max out on upgrades is totally a legit way to play. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, much better defensive play as well on the first drop here in the first one. Compared to the first one. You can still, I think if you manage to get underneath the medevacs, you know, and you have more vision of where the medevacs are moving with the initial 16 Marines, you can just just simply underneath the medevacs and they can never unload. You know what I mean? Like, you pick up the meta or the Marines rather as soon as they unload. And from there on out, I think you can just stack up exactly like you were doing here.
Well, I think if I kept those investors, I would have been in a pretty solid position.
Yep.
I think that's really what killed me, is because I lost all those investors, and because I had what, 6 of them, I think. And,
Yeah, you had quite a few there. I think you probably
and,
wanted to also add on more banelings in general. The banelings are.
Yeah, you're right. A few more banelings. Normally, I add, because I don't like to add a whole lot since I have investors, but probably with Widow Mines, I probably want a lot more. But
All good. Solid game nonetheless. Anyway, dude, I need to be heading off as well, and I think you probably, I mean, you mentioned about 50 minutes ago, I think that you needed to pick up your brother.
well, he gets out in like 40 minutes, so.
Oh, okay, you're fine.
But I do appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
really
good fun, man. Are you okay, by the way, if I upload this to YouTube? I think quite a few people might find this helpful. I haven't actually uploaded too many coaching sessions lately. Yeah, cool.
And shout out to Stanny for beating my ass.
Always good, man. You should see if you can add him or something. He's good practice. He
Yeah,
seems to be
for
able
sure.
to. He's
He
Archon
seems
in Grand or in he's Grandmaster Archon, man. I don't know how many people. Play
Oh
that,
man.
but still good fun. Anyway, dude, thank you very much. Thank you for all of the support as well. Appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, take it easy.